let's have a look at some of these now that I think we really need to embrace as facilitators, knowing what we know about both AI and brain science. The first one is lifelong learning and what the hell that means to us to be a lifelong learner.
For me, it's everything's a learning process. You're always learning something new. So even today, I'm learning stuff that's new to me. So it's good.
Yeah, so it's about kind of having those antennas out, right? They're out there, they're picking up the information. Doesn't matter what stage of life you're in, you're always hopefully learning. You will often come across people who are quite narrow in their thinking, and they're only narrow in their thinking because they haven't chosen to really look at lifelong learning as an option for them. So I do thoroughly encourage not just to be a lifelong learner personally, but to foster that amongst your peers. And now I've learned this, and they go, oh, okay, maybe I'll do a course next week. The next one is free experimentation. Now, this is an interesting one, and I'm going to go into each of these as we go. But free experimentation is simply the idea of allowing you or your staff to just freely experiment with AI, for instance, is probably the best one, or to research and look at brain science and see what you can make out of it. And I'll give you some links in a moment. And the last one is to, within your own team and yourself, to foster that innovation. Don't sit on your laurels. If you're lifelong learning and you want to experiment, then think about how you can apply it. We do this almost on a daily basis. As I mentioned already, the amount of stuff we apply our AI to. We've used some of this technology to help us look at various documents and summarize them for our auditors rather than us writing it all out. Why not do this? So we're always looking at some experimentation and how to foster that innovation within our team. What that actually means, lifelong learning means to choose to stay updated on both things like neuroscience, AI-based learning, and what they've discovered in those industries. Keep informed so you can make logical choices, and I will give you some links in a second. The next one is to experiment freely with AI platforms. Just experiment. There are so many amazing things you can find out. What works, what doesn't work, how you can use it, how you might just ignore it. Because remember, as I said at the very, very beginning of today, sometimes when there's so much information, you can get overwhelmed by it all. Sometimes though, it's good to find just the ones that work for you. So that's why you have your antenna out and you're figuring out what is going to work for you in your situation. What can you do? And the last one, to foster innovation, and we talk about having a mindset of continuous experimentation. Let's start with the very top one, the Neuroscience newsletter. The reason I subscribe to that is that probably once a month, they send me a newsletter of which one article might be of interest to me. But the fact that I'm looking at that is what allowed me to put at least 2 of those examples of 2024 research into this presentation today. So that was the Neuroscience News. Similarly, along those lines is the Learning Science Weekly newsletter. Again, these are all free, by the way, just go to them. I mentioned the Science of Learning Research Center, now known as the Learning Lab, which is the third one there. And last but not least is a really cool podcast, which is generated by a couple of lovely fellows in they're English, but I think they both live in New South Wales, and they are researching all the papers so we don't have to, basically. And I think they work with the University of New South Wales, they come up with a lot of fantastic information via their podcast. So it's a huge one that I'd recommend to you if this is the area of interest to you. When it comes to free experimentation, start with experimenting with AI tools that help you personalize learning, automate tasks, maybe provide some insights into learner behavior and stuff like that.